Good morning, good morning. Hopefully you guys can hear me all right. See if people are still around after all these months. I think everything's working okay. Let's see. Make sure I got my settings all looking okay. I think it shows 2 viewers if I'm looking at that correctly. Things have changed a little bit on YouTube and the way live stream works. All right. So how's everyone doing this morning? How's everyone been lately? Looks like my audio might be a little. Testing, testing. Is that too high? Hey Doug, how's it going? Was wondering if you ever get back on YouTube. Yes, here I am. I never planned on not being on YouTube for so long, but kind of just happened that way. Life got busy and I ended up getting a job again over the winter and was doing that for a little while, but I'm actually just going to try to stick with doing the woodwork stuff again for a little while, and hopefully that'll work out. With everything that's going on now, it's pretty much what we're focusing on. Does the audio and video seem okay? Audio is fine. Awesome. Um, I'm just going to top my coffee off here real quick. Wearing my headset so I can keep talking. So how have you been, Doug? Thanks for jumping on here with me. All right. So what I've been doing lately, spending most of my time doing, is working with the kids on their schoolwork. So of course now they're home from school. So I'm trying to use the live chat on my computer screen. I might actually switch it up and just do it from my phone. It's funny, I haven't done this online live chat thing for a while, so it's like I almost forgot how I did it. But figured I was sitting here having my coffee. Every morning lately I've been just sitting here having my coffee. And so when I first get up, what we've been doing lately, pretty much just get up, try to get up before the kids kind of start getting up and doing their routine, and have my coffee and make sure they get started on their schoolwork. And then I've been trying to get on the treadmill, being that it's still a little chilly out and the weather hasn't been 100% great lately. We've had some good days though, but I've been getting on the treadmill because I find it kind of keeps me disciplined and keeps me moving and exercising. Hey, morning, Justin. How are you? Welcome to the live stream. I appreciate you joining. I've been off here for off YouTube for too long. I don't know. It's probably been at least 6 months or so anyway. Um, or it feels like it if it hasn't. But yeah, it's probably been about that long. Um, so yeah, I'd like to get back on and do some more videos again. A lot of things have kind of changed over the recent months. Of course, now with the whole virus thing going on, it's really changed over the recent months. But Yeah, so like I was saying, I when the fall kind of started kicking in and the winter started kicking in and the cold weather was coming, things were kind of slow with a lot of the work I was doing was running my skid steer and tractor, doing like light excavation work and stuff, and that slowed down a lot. I had a handful of woodworking jobs, but one of the things I learned from trying to do custom commission work, doing woodworking, is um, that doesn't really fit in well with my anxiety because I always have this um, feeling like I'm behind and not getting something done by the time somebody wants it, or maybe not getting it done exactly the way they would want it. I think it's more of just my own personal being paranoid than really an actual legitimate concern. But for me, it was just more of kind of a stressor for me and something that would cause more anxiety for me than it was actually a benefit. So I wasn't getting the work done as quickly as I should have either because I always had this stress and anxiety about how it was going to come out and um, just always concerned about stuff. So being that it wasn't, it kind of made it not fun, and so it really prevented me from actually getting out there and doing it. But I do plan on doing some more woodworking projects. I actually have one for a customer right now, or actually I have two or three, but really one um, that I have all the materials and everything ready to go. One that I have, I kind of put on the back burner for a while, and the person's been waiting for since last year. And I told him I would still try to get it done for him, but it's not a rush thing. And then the third one really is just flattening a bunch of slabs that a customer is going to use for their kitchen remodel, and they're going to use for kitchen countertops. And then I've also been sharing pictures and stuff on Instagram and the Facebook page. If you guys haven't followed those, you can definitely go check them out. If you guys need a link, let me know. I think they might be in the description of the video. I'm not totally sure, but if they're not, let me know in the comments, and I'll grab those links for you. But so basically, as I've been working and doing things, pretty much most of the things I've been posting has been on Instagram and Facebook, and even that I haven't done a lot over the past recent few months. But I want to get back on there and do some more of that. The picture, the thumbnail for this video, which I think worked when I posted it, so hopefully it did, is a picture of Stacy standing in our new slab, what I'm calling kind of our slab warehouse. It's a building a couple miles from here that we're renting. We're kind of renting half the building, really. Um, hey, good morning, Butch. How are you doing? Haven't talked to you in a while. Good to see you. I appreciate you guys joining. This is cool. It's nice to sit and chat again, like old times. Um, so yeah, that picture is from uh, kind of like I was saying, like that slab warehouse that we have. It's about, if I were to, I've never measured it, but I think it's probably about 40 by 20. It's a um, maybe a little smaller, 40 by 16, 40 by 18, something like that. But I've never measured it. But if I were to guess, it's 600 to 800 square feet room that I can stand up all my slabs in, and people can come down and check out and open the door up, the bay door up. People can walk in and shop around for the slabs that they're looking for. We got it pretty well full of slabs, and we get a lot more coming. I just reloaded the kiln this week. Um, the wood that was in there for actually 2 or 3 months at least, so it was quite dry. Took that out, brought that down into the slab warehouse, and refilled it with some more wood. So that'll come out again in another probably 6 weeks or so, because a lot of that stuff was air drying for the past year. So it was already somewhat dry. So the kiln will kind of bring it down to where we would like to see it. And the kiln still needs a lot of work. Well, not a lot, but the kiln still needs the siding done. I need to get some new bulbs for the incandescent lighting that we use in there to add to the heat for drying. So anyway, to kind of back up a little bit, um, Butch, how you been? Actually, by the way, I should ask. And all you guys. It shows that 5 people are watching. I think one of them's me because I'm watching from my cell phone. But how you guys all been and holding up during all this crisis, pandemic stuff? Um, I don't know how's it changed your lives lately. Here for us, like I was saying, every morning we get up, get the kids ready, get them onto their schoolwork. I would jump onto the treadmill, take my shower, kind of catch up with the kids and see how they've been doing. I think this coming week I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm probably not going to get on the treadmill and stuff during the day. I'm going to focus more on the kids' agenda and their schedule. It looks like we're probably going to be doing the homeschooling stuff from now until the end of the whole school year. So we got 3 kids here. 8, 10, and 15, and over the next few months they're going to be. Um, Hey, Stacy's joined us in the chat. Hi, Stacy. Uh, hey, Andy, how's it going? Good morning. Good to see you. How you been doing down there? I actually got to head over and check out your channel, see if you got any videos out lately. I haven't really been watching a lot of other videos either. Um, but bumping along. So Butch is bumping along, recovered from lung cancer. Oh, wow. Wow, it's good. It's good to hear that you're recovered from that. Man, that's a tough one. I'm glad to hear you're recovering from it, though. That's good. Um, Andy says, "Hey, Miss Stacy, Mike Newt, how's it going? Man, it's been a while. I got the email as it came out this time, so I figured I'd tune in. All right, that sounds great. Awesome. I appreciate you joining. That's great." Uh, Stacy says, "Hi, Andy." And Justin says, "Surviving, worried about my folks." Yeah, I think that's the biggest concern for a lot of people really is the concern for the more vulnerable people. I mean, everyone's just as vulnerable to get it, but obviously more people are more vulnerable to not recover from it. I've actually had a couple of people in my family who've got the virus. One is my cousin, who's just a few years older than me, and he ended up hospitalized for 4 days with what he described as what he said felt like a really bad asthma attack, where it was really hard to breathe, fever, all the typical uh, symptoms that they all been talking about. Um, and after 4 days in the hospital, he recovered, came home, and now he's doing good. And then I have an aunt who is in a retirement home down in Massachusetts who got the virus, but she got the virus, then ended up having a stroke and falling down, and unfortunately, she didn't um, recover from that. Um, so unfortunately, she didn't make it through that. She was elderly and she was older, so and then had some other pre-existing conditions and stuff. So obviously, it affects those people a lot more. But I think when we all come out of this, I would imagine most of us are all going to be affected by it in one way or another. Most of us already are affected by it in some way, but I think we're going to unfortunately see, we're going to know somebody who's had it and all that. It's pretty widespread, but yeah, so everyone has their kind of view on it, and I've seen a lot of people have different views on it, but I've never had the flu or any sort of other cold or flu type thing affect me and my family in this way ever. So it's definitely something to take seriously. But we're pretty much just hunkered down here. We're stocked up on food and supplies, and Stacy and I are both now not working, or I should say, we're not working for someone else, but we are working for ourselves, harder than we've ever worked for someone else. So we're doing good here, holding up okay. We're pretty well supplied up. The kids have been doing their schoolwork. That's been a learning experience, and we're working together to get through that. And it's actually been kind of nice. We've actually all been able to spend more time together, which has kind of been a benefit. So we're trying to see the silver lining in it all, and been going out for walks and bike rides just about every day. And Stacy and I have been spending a lot of time cutting and splitting firewood, so we're actually gonna be in really good shape for the coming winter. And we're actually looking at selling firewood this year too. So we're gonna be processing a bunch of firewood using my dump trailer to deliver. So we'll maybe do some videos on that if you guys are interested in seeing kind of how we're doing that, where we're getting the wood, cutting and splitting it. Just kind of do some fun videos. Um, let's see, catch up on the comments here. Doug says, I've been working from home. I'm a designer. Have it set up where I have remote access to my work computer. Oh, cool. Um, that's awesome. Yeah, actually, as a lot of you guys know, my trade or career for the past, 20 years or so has been in IT. So one of the things I've spent some time doing recently before I left my job was setting people up in their companies to be able to work remotely. Um, so that's another thing I had thought about doing too on the side is kind of setting up um, my business where I can actually do IT work for people too. So I may actually set up a kind of a side business doing IT work for people. So that might be kind of fun. Play? I'm not playing anything. I'm on a live stream chatting. My Dillons Woodworks channel. Um, so that was Emma just getting out of bed and waking up. Um, what's that? Well, you can go back to bed, sleep some more. She didn't argue with me there. All right, don't sleep too long though. We got work to do. Um, let's see. Andy says I'm doing good. Ain't even been off my little road in almost a month, but I've been loving it. Yeah, same here. Like we haven't been off our road more than a couple of handful times. We went to the grocery store maybe twice in the last month. The last time we went, we filled up a couple of carts of supplies, so we probably won't have to really go to the grocery store again for. So anyway, yeah. So we have to get dog food. But other than that, we have more than enough food for us here to get through until at least next month, actually into next month. Um, pretty well in next month actually, so we don't have to leave here for a while. Um, let's see. Mike says, "Oh man, sorry to hear that." Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate. Andy says, "Oh, that sucks. Hate to hear that." Yeah, um, unfortunately, it's hitting the older people harder, um, and they're not all recovering from it. But there is good news. There's a lot of people who are recovering from it. People that are more healthy and taking care of themselves. And I guess it's kind of almost kind of like a crapshoot when it comes to the outcome for a lot of people, especially the older people. Most of the young people recover from it just fine. Of course, there are the exceptions to that. Unfortunately, sometimes people don't come out of it. But the whole reason we're hunkered down here with the family is I look at it as kind of if you want to go out and be among crowds of people or interact with people closely um, and not careful, you're kind of playing Russian roulette with your health, is the way I look at it. Yeah, I mean, you put one bullet in a gun that has, you know, you could put six in, and you put one and spin that wheel. Odds are you're probably not gonna kill yourself, but I don't want to take those chances, so I'm just gonna hang out here. But that applies to a lot of things in life for me, anyways. Like I don't go out driving when I don't have to, because there's always more car accidents out there. There's a lot of things, so I always try to just kind of play the odds. And you know, I like being hunkered down at home, anyways. I like being isolated and doing my own thing. So for me, I actually prefer this. So uh, Andy says, "Hey Emma." Yep. So she headed headed back to bed for a bit. Yeah. Yeah, she's all right. Huh? Yeah. Stacy's over there filling the dishwasher if you hear all that noise. No. Andy says, I don't even like crowds when there ain't a pandemic. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm with you. I don't really like crowds. I don't like the malls and I don't like the beaches. I like the beaches if there aren't a lot of people, but when it's crowded, oh yeah, like Stacy just said, we went to actually I don't know if I'm sure I didn't mention it here on this channel at all, but because I haven't done any videos, but we went to Florida in late February, the last week of February. We drove from up here in New Hampshire down to Fort Myers, Florida for spring training and went down there and we were out in the crowds there and that was the last week of February when just before things started getting crazy with this virus. We were down there, drove back home, and then that's when really things started happening a lot more with this whole virus thing. So we kind of got that little vacation out of the way quick before this all started. And frankly, while we were on vacation, we kind of heard a little bit about the virus stuff, but really wasn't paying much attention to it because, of course, there were only a few cases in our country, so you just kind of look at that and figure it was going to be isolated and dealt with, and we didn't really think anything of it. But of course, that changed, and now it is what it is. But uh, so hope you guys are all staying healthy and hanging in there and doing all right, just like Andy and I here, enjoying being isolated. Um, what we've been doing, like I said, lately, spending a lot of time on the kids' schoolwork. During the week, they started out with 5 structured days, and the school work starts kind of roughly around 8 o'clock in the morning and has been finishing kind of early afternoon throughout the day with some self-paced stuff and online meetings with their teachers and their classmates. So it's been going pretty well. They changed the structure of it a little bit now. We got 4 days where it's pretty well structured, and then they have one day on Wednesday. So they get 2 days on Wednesday. They have a day of kind of catch up, independent study, and where they can get a chance to get some help from their teachers. And then Thursday and Friday back to like a structured schedule. And then if they do have anything they want to catch up on over the weekend, they can do that. But I think that's going to work out pretty well for us. Um, and one of the teachers mentioned that it's likely that we're going to be going through the rest of the school year like this, which as soon as they mentioned school was going to be remote learning they mentioned at first a couple of weeks. As soon as they said that, I pretty much knew in my own mind that this was going to be probably the rest of the school year because looking at the way things were going in other countries, I didn't see how it was going to let up. I mean, obviously it was only going to get worse before it got better. So, and they're using, some like there's colleges being used for, temporary hospitals and, seeing them open back up anytime soon, it doesn't seem feasible. And being in New Hampshire, where we're a smaller community, a state with only less than a couple of million people in our entire state, and small communities that are pretty widespread, or spread apart, I should say, we are already fairly socially distant. So for this virus to spread throughout our state is going to take, it's going to be more dragged out, I guess. Um, I would imagine, just because we're so socially separate anyway. But people are going to, I mean, we do have big cities, like Stacey said. Every state has big cities in it. So there are going to be those areas that are going to get more congested in that. But anyway, yeah, so it's going to take time for our state to kind of probably hit that peak of infection anyway. So we'll be hunkered down here for a while, which is no problem. But kind of getting to um, let's see, live chat actually, getting to the chat here, comments. Let me change this to live chat so I can see this better. Um, Mike says this whole thing seems to be a big adventure until you step back and consider the reality that it's probably only a matter of time before the virus takes someone you love. That's kind of the way I'm thinking about it is, hoping for the best, well, like they are saying, like some of the governors out there, some of the bigger states are saying, hoping for the best but planning for the worst, and that's what they're all doing. In the grand scheme of things, it right now looks like a lot of people are overreacting, and Hopefully that is overreacting and it's not as bad as, they believe it will be, but, you know, I guess better to overreact than underreact and have millions of people get infected and die from it. This clearly spreads and kills a lot faster than the flu does. Yes, I know early on, and even I thought it's like, you have 30, 40, 50,000 people in the country die every year from the flu. But considering that we've had 20,000 people die from this just in the past month, um, we've already hit half the number of the flu deaths in just a matter of like 4 or 5 weeks. So this obviously um, spreads and affects things much quicker than a flu would. It takes a whole season for a flu to do what it does. This obviously, in the country being in lockdown in just a matter of a month, even with us all locked down, it's done what it's done. So imagine what it would have done if we didn't do this and we just let this drag out over months. But anyway, um, yeah, Mike, I started to think the same thing recently. Justin said, yeah, I think a lot of people that kind of were skeptical about what was actually happening have kind of come to the realization of what the real reality of it is. And when it comes to news media and kind of the reporting on it all, personally, I've just been watching the president's briefing with the task force that they do every day or so, just to get my information, and then my local governor, and then maybe a governor of another, the big state like New York, to kind of see what's happening there, because I kind of look at that as, potential of what can happen in the rest of the country. And so I get my information directly from the sources. I avoid the news channels as much as possible, because I learned a lot this year about the news and how they report on things, and never realized how much they actually really twist things around. So, like I said, I'll just get my information directly from the sources and from the advisors, and just kind of pay attention to that stuff and do my best to try to stay healthy, keep the family healthy and happy, and we're doing our thing. So hopefully you guys are all doing that too. Andy says homeschooling with dad, day one, oil changes, day two, splitting wood, day three, tire changing. Might have to resort to that. We're actually already doing the wood splitting. So, oh, and driving. Yep. So I've been doing driver's ed homeschool style with Ryan. So Ryan's going to be 16 this summer. At 15 and a half or so, you can start driver's ed. And so normally he would have planned to do driver's ed this year, but of course with everything going on, that plan has been um, not really botched, but put on a significant delay. Of course, there won't be driver's ed probably for quite a while, because you have to spend time close to each other in a car with another person, and I'm sure they're not going to be doing that for quite a while. Uh, yeah, so he would have gotten his license this summer, or could have gotten his license this summer, saved up for a car, he wanted to get a job. So of course we're holding off on him getting a job because of all this, and not saving up for a car, getting his license. So I've been just taking him out and doing you know, daddy's driver's ed, going out, and we're just driving around. Anytime I need to go out, I'm just letting him drive, and he's been doing really good at it. Uh, Mike says the official tally is also likely undercounting by probably half. I think that's true too, because they're not testing everybody. I'm sure that's true with the the flu as well, or any virus really, because you can't test everybody. You're never going to capture everyone. I guess in New York, because a lot of people fear of their lack of having like health insurance and that sort of thing. Some people are like, "Hey, I'm not going to get any health care if I go into a hospital, so I'm just going to stay home." And there have been some people who have been dying at home. Um, but yeah, you're not going to capture everything, and they're not testing. In our state, they've only tested, you know, several thousand people, not even 10,000 people in our state of, almost a couple of million people. So they're testing small fractions of people. And I know people personally who've been told that they're not going to get tested even though they've had the symptoms. And somebody locally in town whose daughter, the doctor basically said she likely had the virus, but they didn't test her because she wasn't a high risk case. So she went undocumented and untested, and she recovered from it. but obviously that didn't add to the statistic. It didn't add to that number. And how many more others of those out there in the whole country or the world, especially China, right? 80,000 people. Yeah, I don't think so. Um, let's see. Andy says, Mike, that boy needs a diet road, a pickup truck, and a couple of episodes. Oh, dirt road. Yeah, okay. That's why I was gonna say diet road. What's a diet road? He might need a diet at some point if he keeps eating the way he does. A pickup truck and a couple of episodes of Dukes of Hazzard. That's the only drivers that he needs. It's funny. I saw a video on I don't know if it was Facebook or YouTube or something where somebody went out and took their car and drove it off a couple of ramps on a side road. It was funny because they were like, "Oh, what we do when we get bored being isolated." I was joking to Stacy. I was like, "I wonder if the Kia could do that." Yeah, he's been doing really good with it. Of course, just like everybody, you start out nervous, but in short order, he was getting pretty comfortable with it. We drove around town yesterday pretty well, and he did pretty good. Not yesterday, the day before, but yeah. Um, so yeah, like I said, we're doing the homeschooling stuff every day, and by the afternoon, we're as long as it's not raining and it's not extremely cold and freezing out, we've been spending a lot of time out doing firewood. So we're hoping to get our firewood completely done and taken care of over the next couple of weeks. And if we can do that, we're planning on starting to fill the dump trailer with firewood and selling it and going out and delivering firewood. So we're kind of adding that to our arsenal of offerings with Dillons Woodworks. Um, so I've been pulling logs and stuff out of the woods trees that we've had cut down or fallen down over time, and we're going to easily fill just our wood alone with just the scraps that are laying in the woods from things that have been, like I said, been cut down or fallen down. We're easily going to have enough wood for a whole winter just from that, and then I have hundreds of logs actually, and over the past 3 to 6 months, I've been going out and picking up trailers of a lot of hardwood logs. So I have a lot more logs than the last time I showed anybody what I actually had. I have a lot of more interesting logs too, so I'm going to be doing a lot more milling probably coming up soon here, especially when things start getting warmer. I also want to build a sawmill shed this year because I did build a kind of a temporary structure over the sawmill for the winter, but the very last snow that we had was really, really heavy and it got really windy and it completely destroyed that temporary structure I put up. I figured eventually it was going to anyway, but at least it was kind of the very last tail end of the winter. And basically the cover of that's just kind of now sitting on the sawmill, so it's still covered. It's just the sawmill can't be used the way it's sitting right now. I got to get that off of the sawmill, and I want to build a proper sawmill shed for it to kind of keep it protected. But I want to really determine where I want to finally put it. Um, so like I said, we're going to do a bunch of cutting and splitting of firewood, selling firewood. We've been selling a bunch of slabs, and that's been going pretty good. We want to ramp that up some more. I think I mentioned last fall, I don't know if I did do any videos on it. I think I did some brief videos where we talked about we rented a new space. So we have a space that's probably overall, the total space is probably a couple thousand square feet. So we have a lot more space over there. It's right on a main road and it's its own building. We actually installed our own heat system in there and insulated it because it was all unfinished. It's not completely done yet, but I'm going to keep working on that. And so that's going to be, more projects. But having not being employed right now, I'm just working on getting everything prepared. At this point, not really making any money doing any of this stuff, so we're kind of holding up. Stacy is not working now because of the whole virus thing, and neither am I. I don't have the job that I had anymore because of all this, so we're just focusing most of our time helping the kids with the schoolwork, but with the other half of our time, we're working on doing firewood and trying to ramp up our business so as the warm weather comes, we can really kind of start kicking it into high gear. And our primary focuses are going to be on sawmilling, the light excavation work that I'm doing, and so sawmilling, selling slabs, the light excavation work that we're doing, and hopefully selling a bunch of firewood. At some point, maybe get a firewood processor, but right now we're doing pretty well with the wood splitter. I've been going out collecting the logs, cutting them and bucking them up, and Stacy's been splitting them and throwing them into a pile, and then me and the kids have been going and stacking it after the fact. So at some point, we'll end up parking the dump trailer next to the log splitter, and we're just going to throw it right into there, and then just have the kids maybe just stack it into the trailer, and they can earn a little money doing that, and then we'll haul the wood out and sell it. So hopefully that all works out good. It's more over the past year. Let's see, what was it, last April? So it's been exactly a year since I left my job last year when I started doing all this for my own business. And like I said, back in December, I went back and started working full time again, and worked full time for just 2 or 3 months. And then this all happened, and now we're focusing back on doing this again. But what I was getting at is over that time, I learned a lot. I learned that there's a lot of things I like to do. There's a lot of things I don't like to do. There's things that I am better at and things that I'm not so great at. Um, and also learned what I need to focus on and what I need to not be as concerned about. So it's been a pretty big learning experience, as you can imagine. You start your own business in something that, it's not something that you've done for a career your whole life and that you're adapting to. And I'd say overall, in hindsight, it's going pretty well. There's been some major bumps in the road, but we've overcome those and learned a lot from it. And there's a lot of mistakes that I've made, a lot of huge mistakes that I've made, and that I've learned from, and a lot of smaller mistakes that I've made that I've learned from. And what we can do with our mistakes, the last thing you want to do with your mistake is not learn from them. And so I'm looking back and looking at the things I did wrong, and um, basically figuring out how I can address that and not make those mistakes again. Um, Having too much equipment and trying to be too diverse. So some of the things I've learned, I'll talk about. Being too diverse in the things that you do, trying to do woodworking, sawmilling, selling slabs, doing custom sawmilling. Uh, there's just trying to do too much of an array of things. I was trying to have like an online store, so doing custom woodworking and custom sawmilling, as well as pre-making and selling things online and in a shop. And trying to be too diverse just creates a lot of overhead, not just monetary overhead, but also uh, overhead when it comes to your time and mental capacity. Trying to manage it all, it's just too much. So I want to try to focus on just a few things and get better at those things and fine tune those things. So like I said, we're going to focus on um, sawmilling, mostly sawmilling here, sawing our own logs. Gonna I'm not really gonna push and advertise doing mobile sawmilling. If people happen to ask and I can squeeze it in, I will. But aside from that, I'm not gonna advertise that. I will advertise doing work with my skid steer, but I'm gonna try to keep that down to a minimum. Just do maybe 2 or 3 jobs a month, just to be able to cover the payment and make a little extra money with that. Um, Focus more on getting these logs milled that I have, because I easily have a couple hundred logs here that need to be milled, and I get some really, really nice logs here too. I got black walnut, we got cedar, we got Japanese maple, um, we have maple, regular maple, just there's a huge honey locust, a black locust, cherry, oak, white oak, red oak, beech, birch. We have a pretty wide assortment of woods, and I want to get a lot of these milled up before the logs start rotting and the bugs getting into them too much. They seem to be holding up good now, but there are some that are getting soft and are going to be questionable. Anything we can't use, I'm going to turn into firewood. All the slabs that are cut off, like the first cuts and stuff, from the logs will all be turned into firewood, which would be great because we're going to be doing firewood. So, like I said, focusing on milling the logs, selling the slabs, selling lumber. I'm going to try to get into cutting some stuff that's dimensional. So when we have a lot of slabs of one type of wood, I'm going to try to focus on maybe a selection of dimensional stuff. Potentially building another kiln. I know I talked about that last year, but I think it would be a good idea to build a second kiln. or figure another way to dry more wood faster, because right now that's one of our limitations is the ability to dry wood. I have stacks of wood out in the wood yard that have been waiting for months and months to be dried and put in the kiln, and it's just the kiln's been full. But with one solar kiln and having the wood take a month or two to dry, that's slowing things down. So have some ideas. I still have that 20-foot steel storage container. I could turn that into a proper kiln and do something with that. I'm not sure yet. So there's some ideas and things we have on there floating around. Um, so like I said, firewood, light excavation work, and selling slabs. So milling all of our logs. Those are going to be the kind of the key areas that we want to focus on. Like I said, we want to focus on getting better at the things that we already do most of, and then go from there and see where that takes us. But I also have that retail shop down there and the slab storage area. Those areas need work and things that we need to get done before we can really open up shop and properly bring people in to look around, kind of have regular hours for that sort of thing. But I don't plan on having any regular hours for that for the foreseeable future. Everything's by appointment right now. When people want to come down and see slabs, we're advertising on like Facebook and Craigslist and stuff. When people want to come down and see what we have for slabs, we're just doing it by appointment. We don't want to have crowds of people in there all together, especially during all this, so we're meeting people individually. And that's been going well. Keeping distance from them, wearing gloves when I'm handling the wood, helping them load it in their car, staying far enough away from them, and being just aware. Washing our hands really good, not touching our face. Um, so yeah, that's going to be the focus. But like I said, the shop needs a lot of work. I still need to do some subflooring in the shop, some painting, put some shelves in, some organization and cleanup that needs to be done down there. Some signage that I need to do. I also the shop has a front porch, which is really cool. It's got some stairs and a front porch there. And what I was thinking about doing is tying up bundles of hardwood firewood and pine firewood and selling those at different prices or different sizes. And because we live near a lot of campgrounds, and coming this spring and summer, when the campgrounds all open up, a lot of people are going to be coming up to go camping, presumably if they do allow it during this whole thing. I mean, camping is a pretty socially distant vacation anyway, so maybe hopefully they'll still allow people to do that if they can manage it in a way where it keeps people safe. And if that's the case, we're going to sell, campground firewood. We'll cut and split pine and put it into stacks and bundles, maybe even offer to deliver it to campgrounds. And then we'll even do that same thing, small bundles of firewood, hardwood for people for their fireplaces for the winter or, whatever they want to use it for. I have a big stack of apple wood out there that I'll probably cut and split, and people can use for their smokers, and take some more of the interesting stuff, cut it up into small pieces of lumber or chunks of wood for people to do wood turning. So a lot of different ideas there, but that's kind of our focus. Um, let's see, catch up on some chat here. Andy said the Kia can take it. Um, yeah, yeah, I don't think Stacy's gonna let me anywhere near that. Huh? Um, yeah, don't push any buttons on there, okay? Here, let me. Yeah, well, those buttons on there actually will do stuff on here, so I'll unplug it there. Now you can push all the buttons. Um, let's see. Big Daddy, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while. How you been? I see you've been posting videos. Unfortunately, I hadn't gotten a chance to go over and watch them yet. I've been trying to sort things out here. Haven't been watching a lot of videos, but I think I need to watch some videos for some inspiration too. Watch some stuff other than, these press briefings and all that. Let's get something that's a little more positive in my head. I was really good at that for a while, but I got to get back into that. Uh, Andy says, "Hey, Big Daddy." Hey, Andy. Hey, Mark Lindsay, how's it going? Mark Lindsay, CNC. He's got a great channel too with CNC work and stuff. Actually, all you guys, most of you guys here have a channel. You guys all do some great work. Andy's channel is a lot of fun to watch. Big Daddy's channel. Um, let's see. Andy says, uh, Ooh, I was about to say when you said apple wood, that would make great smoker wood. Yeah, I got a bunch of apple wood. I actually have a really big apple log that I'm gonna mill and make some more apple slabs. Those are gonna be really cool. Mark says applewood's great on the smoker. Um, to be fair, so is oak, maple, and cherry. Yeah, that's an idea too. I could cut and split into small little pieces and just kind of sell small bundles of like cherry wood and apple wood, maple, and some more of those hickory woods for smokers. So just some other kind of off ideas aside from the main thing. But like I said, I'm gonna try to do my best. My brain doesn't always allow it, but I'm gonna try to do my best to focus on the things that we do more of, like cutting the logs and selling the slabs. Um, Firewood, we're really good at becoming more efficient at doing firewood. We've done firewood for ourselves for the past 5 or 6 years. That was weird. It was like something hit one of the power lines, maybe a bird. Um, we've been doing our own firewood for years, so we thought, we've actually thought about in the past of doing firewood for other people. And I think this year we're going to definitely do that. But like I said, focusing on the things that we've been doing more of and try to become more efficient at those things, I think would be smart before moving into too many other areas. Um, but right now we're spending a lot of our time. I think during the week we're going to spend most of our spare time after schoolwork doing firewood because it's one of those things that you can go outside, you can work on, step away from, get back. Like there's not a lot of prep to just go out, split, cut, stack wood. There's you don't have to get, like the sawmill. I got to go out there, put a fresh blade on it, make sure it's level, go grab a log, put it on there, make sure there's fuel, make sure there's lube in the tank, get my skid steer out. There's a lot more prep to, and then I gotta stack and sticker it after, find a place to put it. With the firewood, it's one of those things that you can just kind of go out and pick away at. So I think it's a good project to work on during the week after school work when they're, you might, if it's something that it's something you can get pulled away from. Where like, sawmilling, you have a log that you have half milled sitting on your sawmill, and it's just, you kind of have to shut it all down, detension it, stack the slabs that you've already gotten cut. You can't just leave them sitting there or they're going to get all messed up. So yeah, the firewood splitting we'll do after school work, and then hi, it's Emma saying hi. Hi, Emma. Um, and then the other stuff we'll work on days where, like Wednesdays, when they have their kind of self-paced study day where they can kind of focus and we don't have to be involved with them as much. We can do the sawmilling and light excavation work. So we're going to try to see how that goes and build it up from there. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Folks would be, let's see, Andy says, folks would buy that up for smoking wood for sure, Mike, especially if it's smoking chunks like you get in the big bags at Walmart, but from somebody local instead. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, I actually thought about even getting some of the bags, like they have those mesh bags at the store that they have with the little chunks in it. I think that would be a kind of a fun or a good way to organize it. We could, also advertise that down at our shop and just put those signs up on the building since we're right on a main road. Put firewood, smoker wood, stuff like that up there. Uh, Wood products, things like that. Um, I do need to put a phone number up down there so this way people can contact us. Maybe put an email and phone number up there. People can contact us when they see those signs because right now we don't have a place where people can just walk in and uh, and come see what we have. It's all basically, like I said, all by appointment. So I got to figure out a way to take advantage of that shop being down on Main Street and put some signs up where they can go to like our website or Facebook page or contact us through Messenger or by phone, and we can set up a time for them to come do that. I thought about setting up an honor box, put like a box down there where people can put, cash or checks or whatever into if they wanted to stop by and just pick up bundles of wood like that. Just kind of do an honor system just with at least just with the cut and split firewood stuff and the bundles of that, just see how it goes. I can put some out on the porch there. I mean, worst case, if it didn't work out, it's not like I'm going to lose a whole lot. if I just try it out. And people in this area, a lot of farms and stuff do that kind of honor box stuff. So it seems to work out for them. Being right on a main road, I don't think we would have as much of a problem either. Uh, let's see, Mark says a lot of commercial and private mills around here. The canneries are ripping out pear orchards left and right, uh, and you can't steal a log. Oh, wow. That's true. Yeah, you can't steal a log, that's for sure. They could try, but it's heck of an effort. Andy says, "Hey, Miss Emma." Uh, Mark says everyone's changing over to grape vineyards from pear and apple orchards. Oh wow! I wonder why they're doing that. Is that like maybe for wine, that sort of thing? Oh, what's this? I just got a message. Kids ruler. Oh wow, that's an old ad. We had kids rollerblades for sale. It's funny. There's an old ad on, I guess, Facebook we had. Huh, that was an ad from years ago. That's interesting. Somebody responded to. Sorry, we don't have them anymore. So yeah. So that's the stuff that we're working on. That's what we've been up to. I'm gonna try not to make this live stream probably too much longer because that's pretty much mostly what I've had to talk about. I've been here live almost an hour. And speaking of all this work, I do get to get out there and get it done. So I'm gonna probably jump off here in a few minutes. But I want to do some more videos, and I wanted to get on here, say hi to people I haven't seen in a while. In the morning, I pretty much just sit and have my coffee and kind of get ready for the day to go out there. It's 10 o'clock now, so usually I try to get up and running a little bit earlier, but it's a weekend, so I figured I'd get up and have some coffee and get ready and jump on a chat. Just kind of was thinking about it sitting there and thought, you know what, I'll jump on and do a live stream. I thought it'd be fun to get on here and say hi to everyone. We got 14 people watching. That's awesome. I appreciate everybody joining and coming on and saying hi. Yeah, Emma. Uh, I believe so. You can get some granola too if you want for your yogurt. Do you want some? Yes? No? Yeah? All right. Hang on just a second. I'm going to grab some granola for Emma. Forgot I have my headset on. I can keep talking. There you go. Um, so yeah, one of the things that I thought about too is kind of, I do want to do videos again. One of the things that I struggle with always is the editing part because it takes a lot of time. And right now, with the way things are going, I got to try to focus on things that we can be productive in that'll make us some money to support the family right now. That's going to be very important. Um, Although I would like to do some videos here and there. Um, Maybe I should just plan on doing maybe like one video a month or so, and maybe not really try to worry too much about what day and time the video comes out, whether I actually get one video done a month or not, but just kind of record things here and there, and then put the videos together as I have time. And I was thinking about doing videos on firewood and kind of how we do our firewood. Do you need me to open it? How we do our firewood, and I still have some things to figure out. Like for our own personal firewood, I don't usually measure when I'm cutting and bucking up the log. I kind of just eyeball it because I know what will fit into our wood stoves, but just by looking at it. But I know a lot of other people, I don't know if it's the same everywhere in the country, but I know a lot of people around here um, always ask about how long the chunks of wood are. A lot of people like to see them around 16 inches because they fit into wood stoves that are larger, like up to 20, 24 inches, but will still fit into the smaller wood stove. So that seems like a pretty good universal size for firewood, so I got to figure out a good process to quickly measure and cut as I go along. I thought about putting something on the chainsaw on the end of the bar, or I go to put the bar down onto the piece, and there would be something kind of maybe sticking off the bar that I can use to eyeball to measure with. Of course, I can look on YouTube, right, for some help on that. So I got to check that out and come up with some ideas. Um, so I'm gonna try to do some more of that. But yeah, I'd like to do some videos, like I said, on our process for doing firewood, kind of how we progress and work on doing that. Show you some more of the sawmilling. Of course, I got a lot of logs to mill, so probably do a lot, quite a bit of sawmilling videos. I know everyone always seems to be into those. Hopefully, you guys are still into the whole sawmilling video thing. If you, and definitely before you do go, I'm going to probably be on here for a few more minutes, but before we do go, if you guys could hit the thumbs up on the video, I'd really appreciate it. And if for anyone who is watching in the background, we got 15 watching. That's awesome. That's so cool. Um, we definitely appreciate a thumbs up. And if you are new here, if anyone is just kind of jumping on for the first time, definitely subscribe. We got a lot of, I think, will be fun videos coming up. My editing skills aren't so great, even though I've done a lot of videos over the past couple of years. I don't know, I've just never gotten really good at editing. I always kind of feel that's kind of been a weak point for me. I wish I had somebody else who could just edit the videos for me and I could just record. Because I don't mind recording the videos and doing the videos and talking to the camera and doing all that, but the editing part just always seems to be a struggle for me. Yeah, because it just takes a long time. It takes away from everything else I'm doing that I want to try to get done. I always feel better when I can get my projects done. And when I'm sitting and editing videos, I tend to get a bit anxious because I'm not getting my other stuff done. And of course, yeah, I mean, YouTube AdSense does pay a little bit, but when you're getting $10 a week from Google, it's not really enough to support your family if you're gonna, especially if a video that typically a video that ends up being 10, 20-minute video will take several hours, believe it or not, to edit and record. Bring the camera out, move it around, talk. Uh, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into it, and it doesn't pay well. Not that I'm, trying to do it for the pay, and I do enjoy doing it, but I just have to be careful how much time I spend doing it. But like I said, I'll maybe kind of switch it up each month. I'll try to just get a video out. Maybe try to get a video out between now and the end of the month. Um, Maybe do one on firewood since we're spending a lot of time on firewood. Um, and it's tough because I'll put a video out and then people will ask for like a sawmill video if I do something that's not sawmill related. I also want to do I get some woodworking stuff that I want to do in our own house. I want to build the kids some desks since they're now homeschooling. I'm really realizing that they could really use their own space in their rooms for desks. So I'd like to build some desks for the kids. I think that would be fun. Ryan has a woodworking project that he started on. It's a display case for all of his baseball memorabilia and stuff that he made in woodshop in school, but he didn't finish there, so we're going to work on finishing that at some point. But right now we're going to be focusing a lot on firewood and kind of getting the business going with the firewood and slabs, and we'll take it from there. Always up for any suggestions you guys have when it comes to all the stuff we're doing. I always like people's feedback. I always take it as constructive. I've gotten a lot of feedback and suggestions and advice from people here on YouTube that have really helped out a lot and made a difference in a lot of the things that we're doing. So if you guys ever have any suggestions, we always appreciate it. If you guys have any suggestions on what you'd like to see for videos, I mean, I'm going to be doing all of these things anyways. If there are things that are particularly more interesting than others, like sawmilling over, wood splitting, what I'm doing with the kiln, that sort of thing, just let me know. Maybe I'll try to do, one or two of these live videos every week if you guys are up for doing these live chats. I'm sure we could always come up with stuff to talk about and things we've worked on during the week, what you guys have been up to, that sort of thing. Uh, let's see, go back here real quick, catch up on the chat. Andy says, I can make wine out of pears, apples, or peaches just like out of grapes. That's true. That's true. I actually thought about doing my own home brewing or making that stuff, but I don't have time for that. And frankly, keeping my head clear right now is actually the best thing for me. It helps me focus. Uh, But yeah, that stuff, that sounds really good. Pears, apples, and peaches. Yeah, that would be good, I bet. Uh, Mark says, what I meant by can't steal log is they're all being sold to the private mills. Oh, gotcha. Yep. Pears, apples aren't profitable as grapes for wineries. Ah, that makes sense. Yeah, you can get more production that way, I would imagine. So they're pulling out the trees and planting grapes. I've seen people on YouTube with pear tree logs too. Those look pretty interesting. Justin, welcome, Justin. I know you've already been on here chatting with us, but I don't know if I've actually seen you on a chat in the past. My memory isn't the greatest, but I don't recall seeing you on the chat or in the comments, so I definitely appreciate you coming on and saying hi. You said I subbed for the slab flattening with the router video. Sucks not having a planer. Oh, cool. Well, thanks for subscribing. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be doing a lot more of that. I got a lot of big slabs I have to flatten coming up here in the next few weeks. So um, I could try to do a live video on that like I did last time, or maybe just do kind of a one-off video where I do a quick little recording on it. But yeah, the slab flattening thing has been another learning thing, trying to figure out how to keep it all flat because I built the whole structure out of 2x4s and plywood. But I've got it pretty well figured out now. But it's definitely a tough thing. And yeah, that was my struggle is not having a planer for stuff that's, 2, 3, 4 feet wide to try to flatten it for stuff, for projects and things. And most people who buy slabs aren't going to have a router sled flattening setup. So I thought it would be a good idea. Down where the slab warehouse is, I built out a room that I'm calling my slab flattening room. And that room is for the main purpose right now, that table, slab flattening table I have up, it takes up most of the room. And that room is going to be dedicated to flattening slabs, at least for now. I got to do something better for dust collection in there because it would be a lot better to have something that will collect more of the dust. Because the dust can escape the room too, just through the cracks in the wall and the door. So I want to do something a little bit better to maybe create like a negative air pressure in there to keep the dust in the room and try to bag it or have it shoot it out the side of the building into a container or something. Still have to figure that out, but it all takes time figuring those things out and getting better at that stuff. Everything starts out, kind of half-assed, I guess. Now that's how I do stuff. I start out and try to kind of work up from there, kind of have things kind of rigged, and then kind of work up from there to figure out what the best solution is. Sometimes you work up to something and you realize it's not the best way to do it, take it apart and redesign it. Redneck engineering, right? Mike says, "Good to see you, man. Stay safe out there." Hey, you too, Mike. It was definitely great to see you. Like I said, I'm probably gonna jump off here in a minute. Andy says, "Oh, you got plenty of time to edit, Mike. All that time you're sleeping. Sleep is overrated anyway." Yeah, right. It's funny lately. I've been just automatically getting up in the morning at different times, but anywhere between 5 and 7 a.m. I just automatically get up. So those nights where I end up staying up past midnight don't work out well because I don't, I'll end up getting some days like 4 or 5 hours of sleep because I end up still getting up automatically in the morning. So I have to do a better job of getting the sleep earlier at night. Um, I I don't know if you guys know, not everybody here knows, but I do have another YouTube channel that I've been doing videos on um, probably like at least 3, 4, 5 times a week. I don't post videos on it. I just hit the go live button, and I've been playing video games with mostly with Emma and Kyle. Just playing video games and chatting with people on there. For people who aren't into video games, it's probably no fun to watch. So that's why I've never really kind of made a big thing of it on this channel to let people know. But I do hang out and chat on there while I'm playing my games, but most of the chats end up being around the game that we're playing and talking to me and Emma. So the channel is just Mike Dillon. If anyone does want to know or is interested in going to check that out, just let me know in the comments and I can give you a link to that. But just figured I'd throw it out there. It is one of the things that I've been doing, just kind of more of just a relaxing, chill out thing. It's not very structured or anything, and for most people, it's probably not going to be as much fun as the woodworking stuff. That's what people come here for. Um, but like I said, I do go on there and chat, and I've been doing that just to kind of let you know that's one thing I have been doing at night, which made me think of it as why I've been staying up late. Sometimes on the weekends I end up staying up late playing games, and it's fun. It's kind of a good way to decompress at the end of the day. Uh, Mike says thumbs up. All right, I appreciate that. I really do. It really helps out a lot. Hopefully, I want to try to grow this channel some more too. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Um, Maybe I'll figure out the editing thing. I don't know. I always thought it would be fun if like Ryan could learn how to edit, or somebody else that was, found video editing to be fun, could actually do the editing part of it and I could do the recording part of it. Um, Editing can be fun when you have a lot of extra time to sit and do it. I also don't have a desk. I'm sitting here at my kitchen table, so I don't have really like an office area to sit and spend a lot of time where it'd be really comfortable doing that without distraction. So it's a struggle, but I got plenty of wood in a workshop. I could build myself an area to do that stuff. So I'll work on the kids' school work areas and their desks so they can focus on their schoolwork, and maybe I'll build myself an area, a little office area to do that. Might be kind of a fun thing to do. Mark says, editing is the fun part for me, but I've been editing videos since the early 70s. I go back to the old 8 millimeter and 16 millimeter film days. Oh, wow. I do have fun editing it um, when I have a lot of dedicated time to just sit and do it. Because there are some videos, if you look back in the channel at some of the videos I've done some kind of like fun, goofy things in the videos that stuff is fun to do. Um, but what makes it not fun for me is when I know I have a lot of other things to do and it weighs on my head, like, "Ah, I know I need to be doing these other things, and instead I'm editing video. I need to be doing things to, support my family, make money to, feed the kids and pay the mortgage and that sort of thing. And, but same thing when it comes to video games. It's, I'm doing that for fun, but I'm doing that and I'm spending time with the kids too. Can't really do that editing video. Having the kids around when you're editing video is actually more counterproductive, as you can imagine. Uh, let's see. Mike and Mark both asks, what do you use for editing? So it's called, let's see, I think it's called DaVinci Resolve. Yeah. So there's this software. It's actually free. I used to use, for a long time, I used Adobe Premiere Pro, which I really like. So I guess I do like editing, but I do like Adobe Premiere Pro. It's a really good software. At least for me, everyone has their own preference. I really like the feel of it and how it works and the layout and all that, the workflow of it. Um, but to continue to pay for it was kind of just getting expensive, especially where I wasn't doing as many videos. So it was kind of hard to just continue to pay for it. It's a subscription based. It was Adobe Creative Cloud. But so what I did was I canceled that subscription and I researched other video editing softwares, and I found DaVinci Resolve, which is a free video editing software. If you guys need help finding that, let me know. I can send you a link or put a link in the video here. But DaVinci Resolve, it's a free video editing software, and for me, it works great. It's got a very similar feel to Adobe Premiere Pro, I think. So if it wasn't too much of a learning curve for me, it's probably similar to a lot of other video editing software out there. DaVinci Resolve, if you Google that, you'll find it. I found it to be really useful. And then for photo editing, because I still did some photo editing stuff, I think it's called GIMP. Yeah, GIMP. So I use that for for photo editing. That's pretty much the two major tools that I use for doing that stuff at this point. Although at this point I haven't done anything in the past recent months, but that's what I plan on doing now when I do some more videos. Um, so DaVinci Resolve, definitely check it out. If you guys want me to do any videos on how to use it and how it works, let me know. I'm happy to do that. And when it comes to actually any technology videos, if you guys, like I said, my background has been in IT for the past 20 years, so anything technology, websites, video editing I'm familiar with. Mark's actually probably, I'm sure, a lot better at video editing than I am. Um, but just software in general, computer stuff, technology, um, especially computer networking and computer storage, backup, that sort of thing. Anybody interested in operating systems and that sort of stuff, let me know. I can always do some of that stuff on my other channel. Uh, let's see. Doug says you could always post simple videos, no editing, just like show the kid's desk when you're done, point out a few features, and be done. I've actually thought about that. I thought that might be a good way to go. I do see other channels do more videos around that, like some of the other woodworking videos channels that I watch don't spend hours and hours of time on the very like detail step by step, but they go, they'll do shots of some of the steps that they're doing and quickly throw them into their videos, but they don't spend too much time on having to um, move the camera around and worry about a lot of the special editing. So maybe that's the way to go, is kind of keep it simple would make it easier for me to do. Then I could do more that way. So I'll try one here and there, see how it goes, and I'll definitely leave it up to you guys to put some comments in the comment section of those videos to let me know what's good, what's not, and that sort of thing. And I'll kind of play around with it. But I do like doing the videos because I also like the comments and the feedback. So that is kind of fun. And of course, this helps us be social now at this point where we're being socially distant, although I'm usually pretty distant anyway where we live. Um, this has always been kind of my social outlet, YouTube and social media. Let's see. Uh, Gene, how's it going, Gene? Gene the machine. How's it going over there for you? You've been staying home mostly, I'm sure. I thought you were staying up late cleaning the mill for me. Hello, buddy. Hey, how you doing? Hope you're hanging in there all right. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Andy says, if you was down here in Tennessee, I do like to edit, Mike. Oh, awesome. Hey, anytime you want to edit videos for me, I could always send them to you. I like editing, but like I said, I get really anxious because there's so much stuff I have going on around here. I get fearful that I'm falling behind on other things. Like I said, I am doing the video gaming thing, so it's not like I'm not doing stuff for fun. And so I could spend some of that time doing editing videos, but during that time I am spending time with kids. So I kind of get that added value of spending time with them, and I'm getting to do something that they like doing and kind of playing in their world a little bit. We also been streaming gaming on Emma. She has her own channel too. Um, so if you guys are interested in checking that out, I can give you a link to her channel. Um, but yeah, we have fun just doing that stuff. But yeah, video editing, uh, yeah, like I said, if I had somebody who would want to do it, you're more than welcome to. If you ever want some footage, Andy, and you want to play around with it, let me know. I'll send you some. Might be kind of fun. Let's see. That might actually be kind of a fun thing to do. Send each other video footage of each other's stuff and we edit each other's things. It might make it interesting. Might make a fun twist on it. Maybe I'll have to do something like that. Do like I don't know, a YouTube challenge on editing each other's videos instead of editing your own. I don't know. That might be kind of a fun thing to do. I don't know. What do you guys think? Maybe Mark can send me some videos of his CNC stuff, and Andy could send me some stuff. I could edit theirs and send them some of my stuff. That might be kind of fun. Let's see, where am I? Andy and Gene saying hello. Mark says I can edit anytime, so so save it for the hours when I can't run power tools or make noise outside. It's better than watching TV all evening. That's true. And actually, I've been thinking about that too, is like during times when the kids are asleep, or I get up early in the morning when everyone's still asleep, I could always do that stuff in the morning. That's actually a good point. Kind of like what I was thinking here as I would sit and have coffee while I'm chatting with you guys, which is fun. But I could also spend some time like this editing videos too, picking away at it. Um, Andy says, I need to check out the DaVinci editing software. Yeah, it's really good. I like it. And it's free to download and try, so it doesn't cost you anything to just download it and play around with it. It does take a little bit of a learning curve even if you used other software, but it's just a matter of like different shortcuts and the location of different tools. But a lot of it is in the same place. The tools are a lot of the tools are named differently, so you kind of have to figure out, what the tool was called in your other software as opposed to DaVinci. Um, Mark says Resolve is good software, just got to get it into a rhythm and let it flow. That's right. Yep. Gene says staying inside. Oh, hopefully with the warmer weather coming, you can probably get outside, at least get out and go for walks or whatever. And I know you were working on the camper stuff. You still doing that or planning on doing that? Andy says I've been using video pad editing software. Oh, okay. But my year subscription for that is up. So if a good free one is out there, I would love to have it. Yeah, I like it. Andy says send me videos and I'll send you edited ones back. All right, cool. Yeah, I'll give it a shot and we could, if you ever want to go back and forth and doing like the video challenge thing I was talking about, let me know. Um, I'd be happy to help you out. I hate to add, work for you and then not return the favor. Uh, Mike Newt says, with editing, there's just no limit to how deep you can go. Yeah, that's true. That's the thing. It's a rabbit hole. You kind of start editing, and there's like you can just keep going with it. You can always make it material better, it seems. It's hard to find an obvious point to be like, that's it, and it's good enough. Exactly. Yep, I struggle with that too. And then there can be over editing, I think, too. It just gets to be like a little bit too crazy. But I got to find that balance. Maybe once I find a balance and a good process and rhythm and kind of a balance of exactly where I would want to stop, it might be a little bit easier to edit too. Gene says I have to find a separate mic or adapter to let me use my headset. This computer separate jacks from mic and earphones. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I bet they must have an adapter or something on Amazon that you could get to. It has separate. Yeah, you could probably get something that separates them out. I'm sure you can. Probably only be a couple bucks on Amazon, I would imagine. Mike says, I like that idea. Andy says he likes the editing video challenge. Mike says, send me one and I'll dabble at it during the daddy daycare this week. All right, cool. Yeah. I don't know. I'll put my email address if you guys, anybody who's interested in wanting to do that, I'll put my email address in here. Maybe I'll do a separate video on it too to anyone who wants to do that, email me, let me know. I could email you back something. It might take me a little bit to get it recorded and send it to you. Could take a week or two before I get that all out, but um, maybe sooner. But I would like to do that. Send me an email. It'll also help remind me to do that. But yeah, I think that would be fun. That's cool that you guys would be into that. Um, see, Gene says, got a camper in Florida to get and do some work on it. Oh, cool. So you're gonna drive down to pick it up? Let's see. Oh, it's 10:30. Well, I'm sitting here being lazy. I better get out. The sun is out. I don't know if you can see that. Turn the camera here. You can see the sun is out and the outdoors is calling me. Got to go out and get that firewood split and cut. And I actually have some skid steer work. I have to take my skid steer out on site over the next week or a couple weeks. So my skid steer is not going to be here as much. So I'm going to probably take advantage of that this weekend and drag out a bunch of logs into a pile so I can cut and split without my skid steer being here. So I'm going to go work on that. Picking up a load of logs again tomorrow morning. I'll be picking up some more logs over the next couple of weeks again, even though I already have a ton. That's why I say I'm going to be doing a lot of sawmilling. So maybe I'll start off with some sawmilling and wood splitting video footage and send you guys some of that stuff. Um, so yeah, like I said, please hit the like button on your way out. I am going to jump off here. Been on for almost an hour and a half, hour and 15 minutes now. Um, Gonna refill my coffee here, head outside, and break a sweat. It's gonna be a nice day today, a beautiful day tomorrow. Happy Easter to everyone. I know it's a little hard not being able to spend it with a lot of family this time of year. We don't usually go outside of the house. We usually hang out here anyway during that time, but I know a lot of people do that. So make the best of it, enjoy it. Look for that silver lining in this whole thing. Not everyone likes to be self-isolated and cooped up, but Look at what you have around you in your own home and your family. Look at ways you can keep yourself busy, find new hobbies, and keep smiling. And we're all going to get through this on the other side of it. Best thing we can do now is just kind of try to keep ourselves clean and um, not too close to other people, and do our best. You know, follow the instructions of the professionals, I guess, is what I'm doing. You can't predict the future, so who knows what's going to come out of all this, but let's make the best of it while we can. Uh, so have a good one. Everybody's saying have fun splitting firewood. Happy Saturday. Take care. Happy Easter. Take care of Stacy and the kids. Thanks everybody for joining and jumping on here this Saturday morning with me and joining me for some coffee. And I'll try to do another one maybe in the next week or so. So hopefully we'll see you guys all in the next one. Take care. Happy Easter. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.